Hello, and welcome to the Being Human podcast, where we explore what it means to truly be human, physically, mentally, and spiritually. We upload an episode of this podcast every single week, and we've got loads of big names in the MMA, BJJ, and combat sports space coming up. So what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button. You do not want to miss any of these episodes. On this episode of the podcast, I sat down with Akonne Wanliss. Akonne is a pro MMA fighter fighting out of Birmingham, and he is fighting on Oktagon in Birmingham on the 20th of April. Akonne has an incredibly high octane and entertaining fight style. His fight record is full of finishes from submissions to KOs to TKOs. During this conversation, we talked about his upcoming fight on Oktagon. We also talked about fighting as a whole and what made him decide to pursue fighting rather than other avenues. And we also talked about life as a whole. We talked about the powers of the Force, when and how Akonne discovered the powers of the Force. We talked about concepts such as fate and destiny, spirituality, the meaning of fighting, the meaning of life as a whole. I hope you enjoy and find value in the conversation. If you do, give the video a thumbs up, drop a comment below, share it around, and make sure to hit that subscribe button too. Be a part of the community, support the channel and help it grow. Thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and thank you for supporting Being Human.
I'd be there.
Mate, that's the daddy, isn't it?
Yeah. I'd
Mate,
say I'm
there.
famous. I'd say I'm famous. then you know what I mean? Oh, yeah, I'm a famous YouTuber.
That's your official. Yeah, at what point do you officially become a YouTuber?
A famous YouTuber.
Yeah. Probably 100.
Nah. I think because it's so hard to grow, I feel like maybe when you get past the 10,000 subscribers mark, that's decent. Because it's hard to grow on there, you know. And if you get 100,000, fucking hell, you're laughing. That's incredible.
Yeah,
you get your plaque.
Yeah.
You get your
Wait, is that your plaque?
Yeah, you get your first 100,000. I think it's when you get 100,000, it's your first plaque.
Yeah,
it is. And then you get the half a million plaque, and you got a million plaque. Then Mr. Beast has got I think it's like 10 mil or some shit like that.
God knows what. They made like a special plaque.
Yeah, they did. They made that out of nowhere. Yeah.
So take us from the start, before the YouTube fame. When did you start training? Why did you start training?
I started doing the first bits of martial arts when I was a little kid. I must have been around about 7 years old or something like that. And my mum just had to put me in activities because I'm such like a active kid, an active dude anyway. Like we go on holiday. If I go on holiday, my missus, she's like, I want to go to the beach. I'll spend 1 hour sitting down at the beach, and I'm like, yo, can we go skiing? Can we go like surfing? You can do this, do that? And she's like, I just want to sit down. I said, hell no. I'm active, you know, eat food, sleep, get active. That's me. Endless energy. So I had a brother, I got like 3 brothers, but I had a brother that was really close with me, like as in terms of age-wise. So we were just in the same bubble. So when we wanted to play, and my older brother, he was like, we were too like, I don't know, kiddie for him. You know, he was like playing with...
he was too cool.
Yeah, he was doing his cool stuff, what we thought, but we were building sandcastles and jumping off the back of the building, playing with action men and all that sort of stuff, building some crazy shit. So we were just constantly so crazy to the point where we'd be destructive in the house almost. And so my mom had to make sure every single day of the week we had activities. So, you know, I did stuff like ballet. I did karate. So I started off in karate. And then I transitioned to breakdancing. And then I was doing BMX, rollerblading, skateboarding. I was just doing parkour. I was doing it all, everything. Well, mostly outside, not like kids today. And then a few years went past, and I wanted to be an ice hockey player. So, first, let's get back. I wanted to be a MotoGP rider. That was my goal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I actually got selected for Red Bull's Rookies Cup.
Really?
So, yeah. So I was going to go to Catalonia and get my chance to be in the Red Bull's Rookies Cup. And I was like, wow, this is my dream come true. But then the funding aspect of it, if you don't get sponsors and funding, it's a very hard life for a motorsport family, you know. And unfortunately, my family wasn't that blessed with money, so it wasn't a route that I could chase, which actually crushed me. And I was really sad and angry at that time, and I was like, oh no, what's GP going? Because I really felt like I had a shot. But thinking about it now, I'm probably too big for a motorbike. Them guys are like 5'8", and like really small. So I probably would have grew up and then it would have been like, yeah, mate, you're too big, get out. But so I went into ice hockey, and from there I really chased ice hockey again in sport. And I begged my mum. I was like, I must have been about 16, and I begged my mum, please send me to Canada. I want to go to Canada. I want to try it for the Calgary Flames. So I was like, yeah, come on. It didn't happen, 16-year-old kid can't really get sent across the world.
Wait, so how old were you when you were potentially going to be with Red Bull for MotoGP?
I was 14 years old.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I really had a good shot, a good chance. Obviously, it depended in motorsports. If you watch Formula One, same in MotoGP, there's only 20 something riders. But getting through the Red Bull's Rookies Cup, getting to that stage, you basically just your age. And they were looking for UK talent. There was a lot of Spanish talent and stuff like that. So I really felt like I had a good shot in it, and my drive and determination would have got me there. But furthermore from that, the ice hockey the dream kind of died because I was, again, didn't really have the supporting and backing of it with that side of money side of things. And then I found breakdancing, and that was something I didn't really need money for. I could just have a liner on the floor or a piece of concrete, and me and my brother would just dance at his beats and his tunes. And I actually joined a professional breakdancing crew called Transit Tricks, and I was performing in we went Wales and stuff, but in the UK quite a lot. Did a few battles here and there, lost them all, so unfortunately. But yeah, I did compete against some famous people and stuff that are big in breakdancing today, which was cool. But then one day, as I grew into my 18s and my 17s and 19, I found women, right? Being a good-looking guy.
The best sport.
Yeah, the best sport. Chasing women, chasing tail. And I got into as you can tell, I probably have an addictive personality. So I got into the range of buying a cheap drink because I can get drunk so fast, and going out and chasing tail successfully. And then, it just...
More successful than the breakdancing.
Yeah. I was better at breakdancing than at the time. But actually, talking about the success with women, I actually studied this thing called The Game. So it was I think it was called Neil Strauss who made it, the book. I can't remember, but it was a book. All our friends were studying it, how to chat to women and stuff and we'd go out in the field and practice, So that's a story for another time. So it was quite, again, it literally was like a sport.
Yeah.
It was funny.
I respect the dedication.
Yeah. We were proper dedicated, a bit too much. But then one day I had a text from my old kickboxing instructor. I hadn't seen him in years since I was I kickboxed maybe about 12, 13, around about that time, one of the after school activities. And he texted me saying, when you come back to kickboxing, you pussy? Literally, and I was out on a night, I was what? My ego was burning. I was nah. My best friend at the time, he was a kickboxing world champion when he was a kid. And I said, hey, so we turn up. And he said he's sparring tomorrow. Let's go. He said, fuck this guy. I want to fuck him up. And then we were yeah, let's go. So we literally all stayed at my house, and then we went to sparring the next day, hungover as hell.
Yeah.
And I had he gave me some boxing gloves and that sort of stuff. And I thought, yeah, right, I'm gonna have him because I thought I was hard. I thought I was I thought no one can knock me out, And I went in there, I got absolutely battered, man. I was I couldn't even see where the shots were coming from. I was literally blocking, and then I was what the?
As Joey Diaz says, you just saw the stars.
I could not believe how another man, I felt like a big man, I was 19, 20 years old, thinking, I'd done some kickboxing, karate when I was a kid. I could take anyone on. And I got pasted, and I thought, I'm doing the wrong thing here. I need to learn how to fight.
Okay.
I said, what the fuck? I think I was I don't know. I think I was a green belt or something like that. So I had a few belts as a kid. These are kiddie belts, not like jiu-jitsu. You got the proper system sort of thing. Not saying kickboxing proper system.
Yeah, no, I was just going to ask, how long had it been since you last sparred before that morning?
Must have been. So if I was 20, about 2021, must have been a good 6 years.
Okay, so a long time.
Yeah, long time. So I was a kid.
Even throwing a punch, really.
Yeah. I mean, I threw a few punches in school.
On a night out.
Yeah. No, I didn't actually fight that much on a night out. I was always really good at diffusing the situation and being look, while we're here trying to fight man on man, I'm trying to find a girl. Right?
Yeah.
I said,
focus on the real.
Yeah, I said focus on the real stuff. I said I always used to be a good bluffer. I used to say I say a good bluffer because going into kickboxing, I realized I couldn't fight. But I always just say, look, you don't want to fight me, bro. I'm just here to find some girls. and they'd be like, yeah, right. And I was quite tall, so I was quite tall, had the frame, and like most 19-year-olds you look at, they're like, they were baby faced and like just young. Like I was probably really baby faced too, actually, to be honest. I did look at a photo the other day. I was like, fuck me, I look like a 12-year-old kid, 23-year-old man looking like 12. But yeah, it's funny.
But the charisma as well, right? If you're able to be charismatic in those situations, make people laugh, make people smile, it automatically diffuses it.
100%, yeah, and that's what I would do, like literally 90% of the time growing up in Wolverhampton, because it is a rough place. Yeah, it's not nothing where like it's not soft. It's, you better be ready to scrap, men and women. Like, they're coming for you. You know what I mean? The old grandma's like, "Come off my lord!" You know what I mean? It's crazy, man. But yeah, going back into the spar, that changed my life. That just gave me purpose, because I had no purpose. I was at school, and then I had all these dreams and aspirations of MotoGP, ice hockey, and then all these sports aspirations just kind of disappeared. And even the breakdancing, I just kind of didn't really see nowhere going with it. And I decided to chase kickboxing. I wanted to be a glory kickboxing champion. I actually used to watch Andrew Tate, the Tate brothers fight.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Before all the fame.
Before the fame, I watched them, and I was a big follower of them. Also followed this other guy, I forgot his name. He was multiple world champion. The Sugden brothers. They're really good in kickboxing. One of them did transition to MMA a few years ago, but I don't know where he's gone now. They're really good strikers. I used to want to be like them and go for the glory title, right? And then I seen MMA on TV, and I don't know what happened. I was watching a Diego Sanchez fight, and it was like, I looked at the striking again. You probably see a theme here. My ego plays a big role in my direction of life. And I looked at it, and I was like, "This is the UFC. This is the top of MMA. That striking shit. I can do that." I was like, nah. Where's the nearest
I'll be
MMA
UFC
gym?
champ tomorrow.
Yeah, that's how I felt. I literally felt like I'll be UFC champ tomorrow. I'll be getting the UFC. So I started studying MMA. I found the nearest MMA gym locally in Wolves, and I had my first fight within 3 months against this guy that looked like Ghost of Sparta. He looked like this guy looked like Kratos. You know what I mean? He was a big head.
Sauce.
Oh, massive juiced out guy, bald head, and it was a massive bloodbath. Like, not from me, but from me. If you want to watch it on YouTube, type in Akonne Wanliss versus Michael Carron. And that's my first.
Michael Carron.
Yeah, Michael Carron, and that's my first MMA fight, and it was just a mad bloodbath. And I took myself down in that fight. I was so good at I say I was so good at striking, but I had way better striking than him. But I had no clue in grappling. I didn't know what a guard was. In my 3 months, I don't know what the fuck I learned, because I forgot it all in the fight. Right? But I managed to. I won that fight, and then they overturned it to a draw. Weird. It's a weird thing. So watch it and let me know. Okay. Let me know if you think I won or not. Who cares anyway?
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, let us know in the comments. Yeah. But I done that first fight, and that made me realize how hard MMA is. I need to learn the whole jiu-jitsu side, the whole cage wrestling side, just wrestling in general, like standing wrestling. We have clinch in kickboxing, but it's like break. You hold on a little bit, break.
Yeah.
You don't really get to engage and have to fight for position, and that you can kind of concede position. You can't do that in MMA. You just end up on your back, and that's what happened to me most of the time. I was ended up on my back, and I was like, "Fuck! How do I get up?" And it's crazy to think that now I know how to get up. Like, you know how to get up. If someone's on top of you, it could be a 200-pound man, and you know how to get him off you. But like, if you ask the general Joe Blog person, and you sit a fucking child on top of them, or a teenager that can actually got some strength, or I know a small woman, they won't be able to get them off.
Just stand up, bro.
Stand up. Tiny, and it's crazy. So I had to learn all of that, and I just got addicted to the process and addicted to MMA, and here I am doing pretty well now. So
yeah. No, I like it, because that was going to be a question I was going to ask later on, but we'll get into it now. Obviously, good-looking guy, very charismatic. There's so many things clearly like you could do in life that you could have done. To choose MMA, man, like, it's a tough gig. Getting punched in the face every day. I was going to ask you what makes you, like, on a deeper level want to do it. And I think, is it fair to say Like you want to be the alpha, like you want to be the top dog. Is that a part of it? Is there more to it than that? Because obviously there's many things you could do, right? There's many sports that someone like you that's very athletic could turn their hand to. Why specifically at the root of it, MMA and kickboxing, combat sports?
Do you know, this is a question I asked myself not too recently, maybe a couple of years ago, halfway through MMA career, thinking, why am I doing this? Well, before I turned pro, I think it was around about that time, because when I was doing this as amateur, it literally was like kind of like I'd say it was a hobby, but I have such an obsessive personality that it was a hobby that is a full-time thing for me, a full-time gig. And I just wanted to be the best in it, in terms of, I just really loved it. I enjoyed turning up to training. And the next thing after training is fighting, right? So you train. Oh, coach says we've got to fight. Cool. And I love that part too. So I love to entertain and perform. And that kind of like drive to want to fight, I didn't understand it at the start. It was just something. It literally was just something. But I did kind of put a nail on the head on it, like, is in terms of, and I look back in my history, my family, all like, my dad used to fight. He used to do martial arts. My older brother, he done martial arts. My older brother did martial arts, and then there's me. And it's kind of just rooted in the family. And I feel like just through all the sports that I did try, I think maybe I would always have gone back to fighting. And I think it's just something that sets me alight. It's just what drives my passion the most. Competing and fighting. That's the best way I can explain it.
There's something instinctual about it, right? Like for men, obviously, like for women, it's different. But I think it's, it sounds very Andrew Tate, but there's a masculine drive, right?
Yeah.
And it goes back to evolutionary psychology. We used to have to fight for women, fight for food, fight for everything. I think it is that deeply embedded into us. Like some guys, they're not fussed about it.
No.
I think a lot of guys, even if like they never step into a gym once and never have a fight, there's something in them that like
they're like, I can take him out.
Yeah.
They're like thinking, like, watch Leon on TV and like, I can knock him out. You know what I mean? When people think that, and
I'm sure everyone has a little shadow box.
Yeah, of course, man. Yeah.
Even if they never train, in any kind of proper setting. So I think that's a big thing. I think it's deeply instinctual.
Yeah. And I think that's probably for me as well. It's just instinctual and it's in my blood. When I look back on it and I was thinking, damn, martial arts and fighting is just ingrained in me. Like, even when I was playing ice hockey, I wanted to be the guy that beat people up sometimes, because I love the fighting in ice hockey. That's something that drove me. I was thinking, you can pull the thing over the top and scrap. I love that.
Very much Happy Gilmore style of
yeah. And it's just it's this full circle almost, you know what I mean?
So let's talk about Star Wars. The first question was, when did you start training? The second question was going to be, when did you discover the Force? When did the obsession with Star Wars come about?
Man, my obsession with Star Wars came about when I was, again, a young kid. I watched, I think it was episode 3 I first watched when I was a kid. And my dad was watching it and he made me, we all just watched it together. And I was blown away by it's episode 1 actually, is it called? Is it Phantom of the Menace? I need to get on
Phantom
of the Menace, episode 1. But it's obviously the 3rd one that came out.
Yeah.
Or 4th, or something like that. Yeah, 4th one that came out. That was the first one I watched. And the pod races, I love the motorsports sort of thing. I loved hearing the sounds of it. And then the Jedi aspect of it was so magical to me that it just stuck with me. No matter what I watched, it kind of got me into, I was watching Dragon Ball Z and all that sort of stuff at the time, but it was like so real, but obviously fantasy. And as a kid, you think it's so real. And I'm like, the Force is, and there's a strong, I was just obsessed with it from there, watching all the other films, and I grew up with it. From there, it was just always on the side. And then how it kind of came into my fighting was just, I needed a fight name. And I was just thinking, what do I like? What name? The Destroyer or some sort of, I was thinking they're all like,
cliche.
I was like, they're just all rubbish. And then I kind of like stuck on to the Jedi because they are like cool samurais, and it's like, I love the side of the light and the dark, mixing it as one, being at balance, same as yin and yang, same as energy can't be created or destroyed. You need light, you need dark, all these sort of things mixed into one, in my brain. I calculated this really fast, by the way. And then I was like, I'm the Jedi, I'm the Grey Jedi, the master of the Force. And it's just kind of like stuck from there. And I went with it.
Yeah, there's a lot of philosophy you can take from Star Wars.
A lot, yeah. And what's his name? George Lucas is a very smart man.
Yeah, 100%. Like a creative genius.
He did. He created a whole massive universe and a bigger universe than we can even think of, And even I got on my back, I've got Common Sith in with a light side quote. So I've got a whole like piece dedicated to Star Wars on my back. And George Lucas made that, and I'm thinking, smart man.
Yeah. It's like there's a Jordan Peterson quote where he says something like, the abstract is realer than the real. Sometimes like the fictitious things that people like George Lucas create end up being realer than like the physical, tangible world in front of us. Think about how many people have inspired, like yourself, how you've taken like so much from Star Wars, then into your own career, into the person that you are. That's more than just like the chair we're sitting on, or like the camera this is being filmed on.
Yeah. Well, when you think about it, everything around us is all being thought by someone. Yeah, it's like it came from someone's mind, like the chair, the camera, like you said, all this. It was fiction, non-fiction at one point. It was fictional. Was it fictional or non-fictional? Well, it was fictional at one point. It was
becomes
factual. And it was non-existent at one point, right? And somebody had it in their brain, had the idea to make something that cools, something, had a fridge, and then it's here. And the same thing with like the Star Wars. They took it from what's already going on around, inspired by us, and then made it into a real thing that's tangible. I have a lightsaber in my boot. I can really pull it out and hit you with the lightsaber. It's real. The lightsaber's real.
You have a lightsaber in your boot?
Yeah, I do. It's real. I should have. Yeah.
Should have had it in your
my side pocket. Yeah. Thingy. No. Today I went for the cowboy side sort of thing. So Star Wars is real, guys.
What's the best character? What's the best character and what's the best movie?
The best movie. I'd have to go with Phantom of the Menace because obviously that's the first one that's at heart with me. And the best character has to be Darth Vader, man. He's a bad man. You know when he came out in Rogue One, is it that last scene when he comes out, he gets introduced again. The whole film's kind of great, but then this the scene that last scene makes it and comes out and it's massacres everybody. It's just like there's nothing better than Darth Vader. He's just epic.
He's iconic, isn't he?
He is very iconic.
He's the original bad man.
Yeah.
Going deeper into the whole, bringing things, from the imaginary into existence, going deeper down that rabbit hole. Do you believe in like an ultimate creator? Do you believe in a God? And following on from that, do you believe like a God, the universe has a destiny for all of us? And how do you view that in terms of your career?
Yeah and no. I would say I'm quite spiritual, but I don't really like put that onto a thing of the God there, or there's a God, like in terms of Christianity, Muslim, or anything like that. Like
not in a religious sense.
Yeah, not in a religious sense. I'm more of like a spiritual sense of. I believe there's a higher conscious, there's a higher energy, there's the universal energy that we can all tap into, and we're all connected to it in a way, like the Force.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I believe in it like that, but and you can use that to manifest and bring good things to you or bring bad things. It's not partial to whatever you give the universe or whatever you ask from the universe. So it's just kind of like, energy can't be created or destroyed. You let energy flow through you, and you let the right energy, and you dictate where you want to go in life. Focus, and the focus, like another Star Wars quote, your focus becomes your reality. So
yeah.
Big up George Lucas, but you know what I mean. So yeah, that's what I believe in.
Yeah. Your fight coming up. Talk to me about that. Briefly asked you before we started filming how camp's going. You always say, like, knock on wood, like most of the battle is the camp, right? How are you feeling about this fight? What are your thoughts about your opponent, and what's your prediction?
Yeah, so we'll start with the camp. I had a great camp leading up to the fight before it got postponed. After his cornermen had no confidence and attacked me in the press conference, which was absolutely crazy. I don't think in all my years of watching MMA, I've seen that happen. But
yeah,
hey, we're in history books. It happened, yeah. So I ended up postponing the fight, and now just give me more time to be even more sharper. They're just topped up even more, and I feel like I said, I'm touching the wood because the camps usually sometimes go bad. Like they're camps, right? And the most important thing is getting to the fight And that's why I'm always, training diligently, training smart as possible to get myself there as 100% and ready to unleash the force. And my prediction is I'll knock him out first round one, or even sub him as well, because he's no ground game, and I'm a 100% finisher. I know what I'm capable of. I know what he brings to the table. He's a very decent striker. He's got his nice left kick and his left hand, but I'll take that away. Then what? I mean, if you come to shoot on me, then what? I've turned many strikers into wrestlers, and it's been a bad night for them. And I definitely see that going this way too. So I'm looking forward to this fight and looking forward to what he brings. I hope he brings 100% of himself. I hope he maybe brings something different. I love a challenge. I love the process, and I love the challenge of hunting the gazelle. And Siraj is my gazelle. And I can't wait to catch him on 20th of April.
Stepping back to the big picture, you talked about watching the UFC originally.
Yeah.
What are like your ultimate goals in the sport, if you have them? Do you have like concrete goals for what you want to accomplish in MMA before it's all said and done, or is it just reach the highest heights, reach the highest level of skill that you can?
The highest goal, like the ultimate goal for me, is be pound for pound number one. I want to see my name, Akonne Wanliss, #1. Hey, can't get any fucking better than that, right? And then I guess even just thinking about it right now, like, because that is my ultimate goal. But say if I had to push it even more further, put myself down in the history books, I'm sure with the #1, I should go down as a legend of the sport, and all the great things that happen in between that. So that's what I'm striving for. Every day I wake up and I'm chasing this mammoth of a goal, because that's the biggest thing you can do in MMA. Yeah. Be considered as one of the goats.
Absolutely. And then as a final question, stepping back even further, what's success mean to you in life as a whole, as it pertains to your fight career, but as it pertains to life as a whole? Do you think there's a meaning to life, and what does success in this existence mean to you?
Happiness. I think, like, no matter what happens in life, whether I become that pound for pound #1, or whether I end up with $1 million in my bank, or whether I end up with 10 million or whatever, or whether I end up with 0, as long as I'm happy, I think like that's going to be my success. Happiness, my wealth, and my health. So as long as you've got your health as well, ultimately I think that comes down to happiness. Because if you're sick, you're not going to be happy. If you don't have your family around you, or you're not connected, you're on your own, you're not going to be happy. So I just think happiness just has it all, and that's the thing.
That's a great answer.
Yeah.
Thank you, Akonne.
Nice one.
Appreciate it, man.
It's a pleasure, man. Thank you very much.